Hello, everyone. Good day, good evening to all of you worldwide here on Enlightened World Network. It's a pleasure to have you joining me. I'm Tomás Garza, your host of A Course in Miracles 365 Awakening to Love, and welcome to the show. All right. So, what I've been doing here is every Monday for the last few months, I've been taking a break. Well, if you've tuned in, you'll know it's sort of a break. But I've been taking a break on Mondays, and rather than focus on a specific idea in the workbook for students of A Course in Miracles on a specific lesson, I've decided to offer some thoughts and some opportunity for discussion of spirituality in general and general spiritual principles and things that come at us in life through the lens of A Course in Miracles. And as you'll know, especially if you've worked with the Course before, it is a presentation of universal spirituality. It is that. It's one of many, and you could either choose to incorporate the ideas from the course along with your current practice, or use the course as a standalone spiritual practice, which it certainly is designed for if you wish to do it that way. The beauty of it is it's a self-study course, it's a self-study curriculum, and you take what applies to you right now in the present moment. And you may do all of it or part of it as you see fit, because you and only you are in control of your own journey of awakening, which should, I hope, ideally, come as a beautiful, beautiful thing, because it is. It's really good in this case to have control over it. All too often in our lives, we want to have someone else rescue us, don't we? In certain contexts, I mean, you can name them. There are innumerable contexts in the world where we would love to be swept away and scooped up and transported to a better place, right? By someone or something, whether human or non-human, right? Another way of looking at this is we would like to get the results without doing the work. Oh, you knew I was going to say that, right? It's a human tendency, and we've all done this. So what I want to talk about today is commitment to spiritual practice, and I will be doing it through the lens of A Course in Miracles. But I want to, first of all, invite you to say hello here in the comments if you're catching this live, or if you're catching me on the replay. Doesn't matter. This is a forum for discussion and for the building of community. And that's what we're all about here on this network, as many of you know. And if you're brand new to Enlightened World Network, welcome. What we offer here are a number of shows. It's quite a variety of shows that are focused on universal spirituality. And you can find every single show on the network in one place on YouTube. On Enlightened World Network's YouTube channel, there's a playlist, quite literally, with every show that is currently on the network and has ever been on the network. So you can get a very, very good sampling of what we all have to offer. And there are some wonderful, wonderful programs on here. So feel welcome to check that out. And if you have questions or comments about today's material, I would love to have you type them in here, and I'll get to them in a few minutes. I have some brief remarks here about commitment to spiritual practice. And of course, if you're following along with me in the workbook, lesson 141 is patiently waiting for us, hasn't gone anywhere, and we'll be at that tomorrow here on the live stream. All right, so comments are wide open. Questions, comments about today's material. If you'd like to share information about your own practice, feel welcome. So anything goes here, and everything is, again, welcome. Nothing's off limits. All right. So I'm inspired today to talk about commitment to spiritual practice because, as I mentioned just a minute ago, and I've mentioned again on this live stream, we as human beings have a tendency toward laziness, don't we? I mean, there's really no other way of putting that. Um, there might be a nicer way of putting that, but I'm not called to offer that at the moment. And of course, there are harsher ways of putting that. But there is this tendency, isn't there, toward laziness in all of us. We want to have results without doing the work. We would love to wave a magic wand and be perfectly enlightened, right? No suffering, and be super rich here in the world too, with millions of dollars and a villa in Tuscany and some beachfront property and an unlimited supply of classic wine and beautiful food and stuff like that, right? Yeah, we'd all love to wave a magic wand and do that, and there are recorded instances in the history of spiritual practice where someone has had that kind of a flash of awakening. Now, you may have had glimpses of this. Now, I do want to put out there that if you yourself have had a blinding flash of awakening and you are fully and completely awake from just one flash, definitely please get a hold of me. I'd love to have you as a guest on this live because I do bring in guests sometimes. Now, I've said that before, and I'll say that again now because for most of us, that's really not the case, is it? There is work to be done. Now, putting this in the context of A Course in Miracles, there are forgiveness lessons for us to learn because we are harboring a tremendous amount of fear and guilt, both on the conscious and unconscious level. And what we need is time. What we need is time. This is, according to A Course in Miracles, the function of time in the world, is for us to learn the lessons that we need to learn, for us to have the experiences that we need to have to leave the ego aside and awaken to the truth of who we really are. That's what time is for. So here in time, we have the present moment. Ultimately, of course, there is no space, time. In fact, there are no bodies, right? When we think about enlightenment or awakening, it's not enlightenment or awakening confined to this human body with its aches and pains and gray hairs and loss of muscle definition, well, quicker loss of muscle definition as we age and stuff like that. Right? And it's not that. It's beyond all of that. But here we are. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to commit and recommit as often as possible, as many times as we can and must, to our practice of spirituality. Now, in A Course in Miracles, that's dedicating and rededicating ourselves to be present as much as we possibly can and forgive. The opportunities are all around us. All one has to do is take a look at their news feed on social media or a news app or anything like that. All you have to do is look at a few headlines and a few people's Facebook posts to realize that the opportunities for forgiveness are indeed right in front of us, all around us. And you could choose to see the world as this kind of living laboratory, if you will, an opportunity, a constant opportunity to forgive, where the raw material for awakening is present with every single experience, with every single action and interaction in this world. You could choose to see it that way. And if you do, then what happens is you become more forgiving, you become more loving. Lo and behold, you look down one day and realize you're making rapid progress on the path. Now, you may have more to do, but you're making rapid progress on the path. Now, I know a number of you are making rapid progress on the path. As a teacher, I believe in what I'm teaching, and I also believe in you because you're watching this. That tells me something, doesn't it? Yeah, it tells me a lot, a whole lot. It tells me that you're well on your way to leaving your ego behind. And you may not feel like that right now in the moment because we all have, well, we can call them lapses, relapses, lazy moments, or something, right? I mean, name the term. We have some days that are better than others, right? We have moments where we fall back into habitual tendencies. That's all right, isn't it? I mean, it is. It's got to be all right because, again, learning opportunities are right in front of us all the time. The world is dishing them out to us again and again and again. And you know what the beauty of all of this is, and of commitment and recommitment to your spiritual practice, is all we have is the present moment. That's it. That's all. I mean, this seems so obvious that you might think, well, why are we repeating it? Well, it's because we're adults and we've been talking about our human tendency towards stubbornness, right? So this does, in fact, mean that we need to hear things again and again and again until we get it. So maybe we get it today, right? I mean, that would be cool, wouldn't it? It'd be great. May today be that day for you where this really hits home. The beauty of this is if we've chosen, when we realize that we've missed forgiveness opportunities, that we have acted out of habitual tendencies and looked ridiculous, right? Played the fool, lashed out in anger and blame, for example. When we realize that, we have the present moment to take corrective action, right? We can forgive ourselves. Notice I'm starting with ourselves right here in the present moment, and forgive other people that may be involved. We can choose right here in the present moment the miracle of forgiveness, and it is a miracle. I've talked about this very concept here in some depth on certain shows here on the live stream, and we will talk about it again. It is foundational to A Course in Miracles, and I'll just sum up some of the benefits here. When we do this in the present moment, we are getting rid of, lovingly getting rid of, so in other words, effectively getting rid of guilt and fear that we're conscious of, also that we're unconscious of. This principle operates on both levels. And we should be very, very happy that it does. So if you've chosen poorly, or if you've chosen fear, or if you've chosen blame or regret or shame or abject rage, I don't know. I mean, maybe you chose a fit of rage at some point here recently. You have the opportunity right now to choose differently. That's the beauty of the present moment, is it's an opportunity for us to choose yet again. In other words, it's an opportunity for us to commit yet again to love, to commit to our own awakening. And this is a choice that we get to make in the present moment. Also, I'll go a little bit further than that. Most of us need to make it right now in the present moment, don't we? And here's the beauty of all of this is you can. You know, typically when I teach, I don't aim to, I'm not really called most of the time to make it super motivational, because I mean, there's plenty of motivational speakers out there. There are plenty of people that will, you know, either paid or unpaid, be cheerleaders or coaches for you. But you can do this. How do I know this? Well, it's all of our destiny to do this. And it says a lot to me that out of all the millions of channels and all of the material, you can insert another word for material, yeah, of all the stuff that's out there on YouTube, of all the stuff that's out there on Facebook and Twitter and social media, out of all that, you're watching this. Good for you. This is good. It's really good. So what I hope for you as a teacher, what I hope for you is that you take some inspiration from this message today that you're meant to watch and get in touch with your inner teacher. And this doesn't have to be Jesus or the Holy Spirit or God or anything or anyone in particular, but who is your teacher? Who is your guide? Who are your guides, right? What would be very kind of you to do is to get in touch with them and commit again, yet again, right here in the present moment to practice, to your awakening, to becoming more loving, to forgiving, to letting go of the ego and choosing love. That's my hope for all of you. And I know you can do this because we're all going to do it at one point. And you've done it before, or you wouldn't be here right now. All right. So what I would love to do is have all of you, if you have comments or questions, please go ahead and type them here in the comment thread if you haven't already. And I'll just pop in here. It looks like we've got several people here. Hello, Pat. How are you? I want to say hi to you guys. Bernadette. Hey, how are you? You think your magic wand is broken, huh? All right. Well, you know what? Mine broke a long time ago. So I can't do a Jedi mind trick like Obi-Wan Kenobi and yeah, be magically awakened. Oh, well, right? Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you for joining me. And yes, Pat and Bernadette, thanks for tuning in here. Well, yeah, Pat, your wand is broken too. Alas, right? Yeah, I mean, we would all really like that, wouldn't we? I mean, isn't it funny? I mean, it's funny. We're here laughing about it, but you know, on one level, it's not funny that we want all of the benefit without doing any of the work. And then what we discover is there's truly no substitute at all for doing the work, which we must do, because in order to get rid of all of the baggage, in order to get rid of all of our subconscious guilt and fear, in order to leave the ego aside on a permanent basis, which is all of our destiny, by the way, we've got to make lots of decisions again and again and again in the present moment. And that's why spirituality is so keen on awareness. You can call it mindfulness practice if you want to, right? Meditation, yoga, prayer. There are many practices. So embrace yours. If you've found something that works for you and resonates with you and speaks to you, I want to invite you to commit and recommit to that today. Could be A Course in Miracles, could be something completely different. Now, if you make that commitment and you continue to move forward, letting go of the ego, doesn't matter what the exterior form may be, doesn't matter. So I thank you all for joining in. And as if you're catching me on the replay, feel welcome to leave comments or questions here. This is one part of being live that I really, really love. All right, guys. So the workbook is, of course, waiting for us, and I'll be back tomorrow. We'll continue on from there, and we'll be in a really fun period of review exercises where we get to go back over some of the ideas that we've previously covered and maybe see them in a little bit different light. So the workbook is deliberately constructed in that way so that we'll get a different take, maybe a different twist on an idea that we've seen before. And thank you all for tuning in. I will see you back here tomorrow. Have a great day.